Well, good morning, class. Today we're going to talk about the windows of opportunity, and this is part A in the series of windows of opportunity. And as you look at this picture here, as you look out, the idea behind this is that you're looking out towards your future and you see the opportunities you have, and this is why it's called the window of opportunities. What awaits you out there? If you some basic review from the last time we talked about decision-making principles that we need to understand and make sure you have a grasp of is the first basic principle is choice will always equal cost, and we showed you this slide and we talked about that whatever choice you make, there's a cost, and that cost depends upon a lot about, it could be time, could be money, could be your character, favor, your word, your honor, things of that nature. But every choice is made, there's a cost to that choice that you make, good or bad. Remember, as we talked about, and the next slide we talked about, choice, actions, costs, consequences. And the costs or consequences can be a positive or negative. And when you make your decisions, that's pretty much what you want to kind of weigh out all the time, is deciding on, the positive and negative of that. And then we talked about need versus wants, and the biggest thing here to understand that you must take care of your needs as an individual, personal, or as a business. You must have your need list, know what your needs are to sustain yourself, and before you can address your wants. And what happens if you go too much on the wants, you become out of control somewhat. So you want to make sure you have a good balance, but you want to make sure you understand that you always have to address your needs first before you move to your wants. And remember, the definition for need is something that is essential to your survival in your environment. Now, key here is essential to your survival in your environment. And remember, we talked about this, that because of our standard of living, our needs may be a little bit greater than the needs of a third world country, which I gave you some demonstrations of another country and their basic needs. And so the idea, for example, with a cell phone, is it a need or want? Depends on your environment you're in. Most people believe now that the cell phone has approached the time that it is a need and everyone should have one. And then there's some others that really don't need the cell phone. So understand about the needs. And needs is essential to your survival in your environment that you're in. Okay? And then a want is something that is not essential to your environment. You can get along without it. You can plan for it. If you really want it, you can plan for it and buy it later on, or acquire it at a later date after all your needs have been met. Okay? So, and then we talked about the elements that changes the need and want. We talked about the season of buying. We talked about the emotional buying issues, the traditional buying, credit card buying, your partnership or team buying, and emergency buying. And all those things can influence your need and want list. And it's so important to understand how to balance those off before those change factors come into play. And then decision-making process is based on the need and want, right? And we also said that the individual group decision is based on standard of living, and that goes back to your environment, what's your environment that you live in. And then the standard of living is based upon technology, your educational and skill level, and income. And those things help develop that environment which you make your decisions in. So if we define opportunity is a need, want, or problem, or basically a challenge that can potentially be addressed and solved by applying decision principles by an individual or group. An opportunity that may come your way, it could be based on your need, could be based on your want, could have a problem that comes up, that an opportunity for you to solve it, or it could just be a challenge that you address. And when you address those things, you put into factors those techniques of choice equals cost. You look at the need versus wants. You look at the element changes that may affect it, and the standard of living or the environment which you live in, to make those understanding about the opportunity that you may have. Benjamin Franklin's system of decision making is another good decision making that a lot of people use because it's very simple. Basically, he looked at the advantages and the negatives, and what he would do, that basically, if a decision to be made, what he would do is put together a T-chart basically, and he would list all the positives or advantages or yeses on the left side, and then all the negatives or disadvantages or no on the other side. And as he did that, he was able to then ponder it, and after a while looking it over, he could make a decision. And so this is another great technique, the Benjamin Franklin technique, that people use to make decisions. And really, anytime you do make a decision, you think about it, you do make up a T-square maybe in your mind or something, and you list all the advantages versus the disadvantages of doing that, of that particular decision making. Okay, so that, and then you can make a very informed decision by doing that. Okay, well, that's all, folks, for part A, window of opportunity. We'll move on to part B here in the next few minutes. So good luck, and we'll see you in a few minutes. Thanks.